Two-part gun grab. Terrorist sympathizer Rashida Tlaib reveals her hatred for Jews, and Democrats brainwash their supporters. I'm Dan Wass. This is the Loaded Mic. New York Democrats have been hyper-focused on two firearm strategies. Now, the first has been to create a registry of gun owners in the state of New York with all the pertinent information that would be needed should a confiscation be desired by the gun-grabbing legislature and or state police. So recently, New York State pulled the firearm background check system from the ostensibly protected federal NICS process. At the federal level, gun owners are theoretically protected from being put on a gun registry. Now, the New York State legislature has decided that any gun purchases that occur in the state of New York will go directly through the New York State Police. However, the originally appointed governor, Kathy Hochul, was not completely happy with firearm background checks alone and added an ammo background check rule in what appears to be an attempt not to miss out on any gun owner information. The second strategy is the use of extreme risk protection orders, also known as red flag laws, also known as gun confiscation without due process. New York State has had red flag laws in place for some time, but in 2023, Judge Craig Stephen Brown declared New York's red flag law unconstitutional on the grounds that a court is not equipped to determine mental health issues. Mental health was the justification for New York's red flag laws. Judge Brown made it clear that civil rights were at risk of being violated under New York's current red flag law. He also made it known that the ex parte confiscation of guns without due process is a violation of constitutional rights. So why is New York so intent on creating a gun registry and red flag laws and getting both of them in place at the same time? Well, the answer is simple. Before you can confiscate firearms without due process, you must first know the home addresses where they are located. Red flag laws are the confiscation tool. The registry is the location tool. Recently, a New York appellate court upheld the controversial and dangerous red flag law justification for the court's decision and relied on the notion that a judge was capable of making the determination that an individual could be a risk, as long as the judge believes there's a probable cause that a subject of a red flag petition is likely to cause serious harm to himself or herself or others. Red flag law confiscations would be given a green light. So we're going to talk about this and many other things with, he's about as cuddly as a rabid porcupine and he has colorful tattoos, Anthony Deso. And he has no tattoos, but many agree he's got a very colorful personality. John Chiara.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Who's writing this stuff for you? You hire somebody, you paying him a lot.
Oh, we got quite a show today, guys. But I wanted to talk and get your opinion on the two-part gun confiscation thing. You got the red flag laws that have been in place where anybody can call you a risk to society and cops can come and take your guns and they figure it out later. And then we have the ammo and firearm background checks, which ultimately is a New York State registry of gun owners at the police department. So what are your thoughts?
So do we think that there's a situation where somebody should not have a gun? I mean,
the way I always look, here's how I look at it. People ask me all the time. I just did a radio interview, and they said, well, what do you think we should do about like mentally ill people getting guns?
Schizophrenics that are on meds and stuff and craziness.
And I guess my answer to the question is, when did it become the gun owner's responsibility to solve the problems of mental health and all the other ills of the world just so we could keep our gun rights? So in other words, it's becoming a thing where it's being put on the gun owners to solve these problems when these problems should be solved by psychologists, psychiatrists, police departments, keeping bad guys in jail and all that stuff. So that's my answer,
That's logical.
right? I mean, does it make sense that we should have to figure this stuff
That's
out?
like saying I should be going through Walmart when I'm grocery shopping and pulling Twinkies out of somebody's cart because I don't think they should be eating Twinkies. It's not my responsibility.
I guess.
Well,
Right?
actually, I'm on air right now.
Okay. So here's Danny Walsh Jr., our producer.
You said psychologist, but I remember a while ago you saying that like psychologists, if they have ultimate control over that, then it wouldn't necessarily be a good idea because they're mostly left leaning.
Yeah, so Danny's throwing me a curveball, and that's fine. But yeah, because that's true too. So do we even let the psychologist determine whether or not somebody is mentally incapacitated? That's the only thing that we really have that doesn't affect the gun rights. I don't necessarily agree. I agree with Danny. I don't think it would be done always in the best way. However, what it does is it takes the process away from gun regulations. So if we can perfect that system, great, Danny, psychologists and things like that. All I want to do is get it away from gun restrictions. So I don't care what they do, just figure it out, but keep away from our gun rights. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, I think they should limit it to psychiatrists, not just psychologists, because psychiatrists are the actual doctors who treat and prescribe these. I mean, if you got a psychiatrist and he knows somebody's had a history of, like I say, schizophrenia or something. I have a friend right now that I know who's been in the hospital for the past month and a half because his family rented him an apartment and he was so paranoid about people coming in and hurting him that he was sleeping in his car all winter.
Well,
It's like, that's not mentally stable.
And a lot of people are talking about psychotropic drugs causing a lot of this.
Right.
This,
well, we don't know. It's a field that it's not an exact science by any stretch of the imagination.
But the point that I'm trying to make is, okay, I don't know what's going on in that area. That's not my area of expertise. When we're talking about psychologists and psychiatrists and psychotropic drugs and all that stuff, I don't know anything about that stuff. It's out of my scope. But there's no reason you should be coming into my gun rights and infringing my gun rights because you can't figure that stuff out.
Exactly. See, well, that's a good line in the sand for a lot of arguments that we hear from people. It's like, wait a minute, you're making me responsible for something that I can't be responsible for, which is basically someone else. That should be the line. That's not my job to do that. If we're going to try to help those people, let's do something to help those people. But don't think you're helping those people by infringing on my rights and making things my responsibility that I can't be responsible for.
Right.
It's really a screwed up view of the world where we think that's well, those are the same kind of people that get offended at stuff and think that somebody else hurts their feelings all the time. Okay, what do you want me to do? I can't fix that.
I'm not in control of your feelings. I should be able to say anything to you, and you should be able to control your own emotions, right?
Yeah. John.
He just
Ball, really?
Look at him. He's all reactive.
he's all look at him.
We love Anthony.
Yeah.
Just don't split the bill at the restaurant.
Oh,
Are you saying
you
he's
talking about?
Are you saying he's
with-
Did
cheap?
you take your meds today?
I'll have 3 Cokes and 4 orders of mozzarella sticks.
No one's ever ordered 4 orders of mozzarella sticks ever.
Okay. Well, now we got an expert opinion on that. See, we're learning all kinds of
We're
stuff.
learning
here
all
today.
sorts of things about the crew here today. Anyway, all right. So I hope we kind of
He does share though, so it's not like
shares what.
he offers to share his appetizers. He's all right.
Does he?
He's not a Bogart and the mozzarella.
What's his
stick.
favorite
How did
appetizer?
we go from gun rights to mozzarella sticks?
I don't know. Dan's leading the whole
What
thing
about
over here.
what about those tater tots he gets over at
They're gone.
they're
They don't
gone.
have them anymore.
I did have some. Good
They had
ones
all
at
sorts of
another
stuff
rest-
on the tater tots.
They're gone.
What did they put on
I
it?
got good ones at the other music venue in Clifton Park. They have good tater tots.
All right.
Bacon and
Leave Anthony alone.
pulled pork.
Pork.
He likes his appetizers.
Pork.
See, he won't let it go either. Once you get that picture in your head. Moving on.
Poor Anthony. We're moving on. All right. So, terrorist supporter Rashida Tlaib had a few things to say about the anti-Semitic student terrorist protesters. We're going to listen to what she had to say in sections so we can comment on all of it. It all needs to be discussed, and Tlaib needs to be called out. Let's play that clip.
I am deeply moved by the courageous young people in more than 100 encampments at colleges across our nation.
Okay.
Okay.
She's deeply moved by these students. In other words, somehow when these students destroying these college campuses and graffiti and running around with their stupid little shields made out of garbage cans and destroying things and spitting on cops and all that.
Blocking
She's
other
proud.
students,
She's
right,
proud
she's
of them for that. Go ahead.
They are coming together in a way I wish my colleagues would welcome. These students should be praised for standing up for what they believe in, not vilified, smeared with misinformation campaigns and silence. These state-sanctioned violence, including the arrest and threatened felony prosecutions of students, can only be seen as an explicit effort to silence students and take away their First Amendment rights.
Go ahead.
Trump.
Go ahead. Yeah. Take away their First Amendment rights.
Gag orders.
What about the Jewish kids who are being kicked out of there because these terrorist students won't let them even in?
You mean those paid protesters by Soros?
Yeah, they're not even most of them aren't even students.
They're not even students.
Well, they arrested. How many did they arrest?
Lot.
2,300 or something.
Trespassing. They're just going to get a ticket and they go back home. They need to beat them.
Well, the funny
Fire hose, fire hose action,
rubber bullets.
rubber bullet. Just light them up. Light them. No, we're too easy on them.
Yeah.
Like gruesome Newsom, California. They don't even care what's going on there. Did you see that aftermath of that college after they left?
No.
Did you see? You got to have Danny find a picture of the college campus after the dirtbags left. It looked like It looked like that photo we showed last time of the Skid Row. Looked just like that.
Oh, in where was that?
Diego.
Oakland.
Yeah, in Oakland. Looked just like Oakland.
Unlike the gun rally in Virginia, where they clean up after themselves and
They did. Yeah.
leave everything pristine.
Gun owners are responsible. Left wingers are slobs.
Yep.
Look what they're doing over there at these campuses. Graffiti on the buildings. They're defacing the statues. They're garbage everywhere. Tents and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Where did they get all the same color tents? Come on.
I know. There's one more piece to this clip, and then we'll move on to another piece of this conversation. Go ahead.
Sending in militarized police forces and even snipers to stop these students for exercising their First Amendment right is truly disgusting. My colleagues are so outraged by students opposing genocide and apartheid, but many of these same members were completely silent last year when we saw the dramatic increase of threats, literally death threats, on historical black colleges and universities across the country. From the civil rights movement to anti-war protests to the movement for black lives, immigrant rights, our country has a long history of student-leading movements for change and challenging the status quo that oppresses and normalizes genocides across the world.
Does she even know what she's talking about?
Normalizing genocide across the world. So
That's what we're doing. I
So-
get up
Yeah.
every day and I go, how can I normalize genocide across the world today?
Today I'm going to bomb Gaza. That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Because I got a rocket launcher. How about you? You got one?
I got a slingshot.
notice how she brings in black students
Of
and
course,
black.
always
always
we're not
gotta-
worried about the Jewish kids that are being disrespected and
Right.
hate crime towards them. That's not good.
No.
Now, you know damn well if this was black on white, hate crimes all along.
yeah.
Hate crimes across the board for everybody.
Now it's genocide.
Yeah, now it's genocide. These kids don't believe that the Holocaust happened either. They don't believe it ever happened. Or October 7th, for that matter. They go, no, it's all fake.
How about before we
Then how about you go over there and see how it's going? Right?
we should go a road trip Gaza?
I don't think so.
I would actually pay for a few plane tickets for if
Absolutely.
they wanted to go over. Yeah. I would donate.
Shapiro should go.
We'll give them a camcorder. We'll live feed it.
We'll give them one of those
8 seconds
helmet-
later, they'll have a bullet hole in their forehead.
We'll give them one of those
And then-
helmet cams.
Yeah.
Send
We'll
Greg
we'll
over.
give them a GoPro.
Go crazy.
Yeah. Just go over there and talk to the Gaza Strip. Go talk to the residents and see what they say.
Yeah.
Make sure you tell them where you're from first.
Yeah. And tell them you're gay too, or something.
Yeah, there
like
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
See how
Tell them
long
you're
that-
tranny
get a
or
little
you're gay or something like that.
Rainbow flag on your camera and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, these kids are just stupid. They're stupid.
Yeah.
All the work.
How about besides celebrating them, exercising their First Amendment rights? How about we celebrate examining what their thought pattern, what their process is? what are their beliefs? Let's talk about that. Don't just talk about. I'm all for people expressing themselves, but when you're expressing yourself and you're in, like people that's sitting down in the middle of the road or something. You see the old videos and countries, people just getting out and grabbing them and throwing people on the sides.
That's how you
Get
do
the
it.
heck out of the way.
Well, the funny thing about these kids at these colleges is that they think, in their head, it appears that they think they are fighting this war or something, and they're so delusional. They're these little skinny kids, and they think they're going to fight against the cops. If the cops really laid into them,
Oh,
they'd be. You know what they would be.
they beat them to oblivion.
But the funny thing is, they think they're little warriors. Do we have that picture of them with the plastic garbage can shields? This is how ridiculous.
Yeah,
Did you see this?
What are you doing? What's the umbrella doing? What's the?
And
Those are for rubber bullets. That's what they're for.
what's with the umbrella? The umbrellas. What are they afraid of? They're afraid of the rain or something? I don't get it.
Probably to block that pepper spray, but it's not going to block it. It's going to get you.
And they have those silly shields that they cut out of garbage cans. And then, oh, there's a video, right? Oh, we have a video on that. Watch this. Oh, it's a woke patrol. Okay, yes.
So they stole a neighbor's garbage can and chopped it up. The
Yeah,
guy's going to go out tomorrow and be like, where the hell are my trash cans?
Do they have trucks coming in delivering garbage cans with tents?
We have a video coming up in woke patrol shortly. So, oh God, it's just so silly. They're so silly.
If that was my kid, I'd beat the hell out of him. If I ever saw my kid on TV doing stuff like this, I'm like, listen.
Did you see that one kid? He's out there gangbanging, creating stuff, probably in the 2020 riots. And his mother comes out and beats the hell out of him in the street.
She yokes him up and beats him.
Okay, let's get to one of our sponsors real quick. This device right over my shoulder. Where is it? There it is. It's there. It's called the Kali Key. It removes your AR from the definition of so-called assault weapon. Did you know that when so-called assault weapon ban lists are created, they exclude manually operated bolt-action firearms? So just by dropping this Kali Key into your direct impingement AR in place of your semi-automatic BCG, you will have a bolt-action rifle that falls outside the definition of an assault weapon. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. So give the Kali Key a look, because with it, you could retain all your rifles features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales as if you're an FFL, regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, and enhance long-range precision and quieter suppressed shooting. So the Kali Key has state-specific expert attorney opinions on its website, because every state's different. And they support grassroots Second Amendment organizations with sales. Kali Key's mission is to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. So go to KaliKey.com, KaliKey.com, and use the discount code LOADED. You'll get a discount just for knowing us. All right. So where are we going next? Because, okay. So since we're talking about the little warriors, the little soy boy warriors, I think it's time for a woke patrol.
Woke Patrol.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
All right. The most ridiculous thing I've seen so far to come out of the campus riots is the group of children dressed up in homemade combat gear, holding umbrellas and carrying shields made out of plastic garbage cans. I call this Soy Boy Fight Club. Watch this. What are they going to do?
Oh my God. Look, they're all wearing masks. They're a bunch of cowards.
Watch, they run right into the cops, and the cops take them down. Were they the sacrificial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were, yeah.
The peons.
Yeah. So those kids were the sacrificial ones, right? They probably all got together and said, "Okay, you 3 idiots, you're going to run."
Watts, you lost. You're out.
I want to see how long it takes for them to beat you with your rubber garbage can.
It's like Mel Gibson and
That's gonna be the next Rubbermaid commercial.
Oh, these kids are so
It's
stupid.
terrible.
They should be made fun of. They should be ridiculed and made fun of because it's silly.
All these kids, if they're if you're found out to be involved in all of this and you go to a college, expelled, no degree, and you get no money back, you're done. You're blacklisted from the college. But the liberal left won't do it. They won't do it. Now, if these were conservative kids doing this, they wouldn't have a college degree.
Yeah.
The left knows they can get away with anything they want.
Yeah.
They do. Every day they get away with it.
And not only that, the campuses are getting destroyed, and they're talking about taking federal funds, in other words, taxpayer money, to help the colleges rebuild.
That's ridiculous.
So the colleges could have stopped this right away.
No way.
No, they get off on it.
The first tent that was put up, tear it down.
No.
Don't. That's the what is that? The broken window rule, where if you want to prevent your city or your town or whatever from going into shambles, you pay attention to the minor things.
Right. Nip it in the bud, right?
Nip it in the bud. Every broken window, every piece of graffiti, clean it up right away. Otherwise, it manifests.
Nope. That's what. Look at any blue state. Look at Oakland. Going good, isn't it?
Oh, Oakland. We talked about Oakland last week.
Yeah. Oakland looks like a third world country.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh, and the mayor.
She's a piece of garbage. She comes from a third world country, I think, and she just making it look like, oh, we're going to clean it up.
Well, she ran on the idea that she was homeless at one time. And you would think that if she was homeless, once she got into office, she would do something.
No, now the whole city looks homeless.
They don't want to fix anything.
No. Why not?
They want it to look like crap and make it your fault. You don't care about those people, Dan.
Look at Pelosi. How long has that old hag been in office?
I don't know if I really care. Care about who? Which people?
Anybody.
Well, there's levels of how much I care.
I
Tears
saw
of caring.
a video the other day. Did I send it to you guys, or did you send it to me with a guy with the Biden shirt on and he's cooking out in front of his house or something, and they're talking to him about immigrants? And he says, "Yeah, we should let them all in." The guy goes, "Okay," and he got, I got 3 guys to come out here. They're going to go in your house and they're going to stand. The guy
goes, "Can they stay with you?" Well, no. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah. I
don't know them. I don't know them.
You say, "Well, I don't have enough room." That's their usual excuse.
You little poser. Take that shirt off and shove that hot dog down
Put a tent up
your
right on your front lawn. That'll be good. You can cook some burgers for him and stuff.
Yep. As soon as he said, "Can they stay with you?" Oh, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, though, I remember watching somebody doing an interview in the street of all these people in the street protesting, saying, immigrants' rights and all this stuff. And so he's going up to him saying, "Well, since we have this, would you be willing to put up some in your own home?" Every freaking liberal he asks, well, I would, but I don't have the room.
Yeah, okay.
I can't, yeah.
Yep.
They're a bunch of phonies.
They are.
Bunch of phony balonies. Just like Joe Biden.
They care for no one.
Why is it like the Biden administration is so adamant about continuing to fund Ukraine with U.S. taxpayer money, even though it appears that what we're doing is nothing more than throwing good money after bad? People want to know what kind of involvement Biden has with Ukraine and what nefarious dealings he's been involved with. Now, we already know about Hunter Biden's dealings with the Ukrainian energy company, but is there more? Watch this video.
2 weeks after Donald Trump's victory, Joe Biden is on the phone with Poroshenko. His voice tenser now than before.
This is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get in a position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the detail.
In other words, Biden does not want Ukraine asking for more money from Trump. Doing so would cause Trump to look into the details.
So anything you can do to push the Privat Bank to closure so that the IMF loan comes forward, I would respectfully suggest is critically important to your economic as well as physical security.
So
Joe sounded pretty coherent there.
sounded
though.
coherent there. Well, he really
He was
fell.
afraid.
He really went off the rails recently. But yeah, so I when I heard that, I was like, so he was really preventing Trump from looking into what's going on in there, and we're still pumping more money into Ukraine. I mean, when is this going to stop?
I don't know where all the money's going.
Yeah, what are they doing?
How much
with
money do they have? 600 billion?
Well, if they're buying
Couldn't we buy that
US
country?
arms and stuff, and it's I don't know. I don't know enough about it to even have a valid opinion, really. But it's messed up.
But
for
have you
sure.
seen any video of a war going on in Ukraine? Anybody?
Not in the last
Not
couple
recently,
months.
no.
It's been like 6 months since
Yeah.
anything.
Why isn't there drone footage every day on like
Right.
PBS?
When we
or
were
something?
on war with Iraq, it was running
Remember
24/7.
the freaking missiles and the
24/7.
chasers and all that stuff. You watch it constantly.
There's
So-
satellites up there, right? Take pictures. Why isn't that that's its own channel right now? If there's a war going on somewhere, there should be a satellite focused on that, and that should be a channel on 24/7, so you can watch what's going
So
on.
what's going on then?
I don't know. What do you think?
They're funneling money in,
Yeah, they're funneling money.
and they're funneling it back to the dirtbags.
Yeah,
And there's Republicans involved in it.
probably.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Follow the money trail. It's going somewhere.
Yeah.
But we have not seen any coverage of any war in Ukraine in like 6 to 8 months. So where?
Has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any footage.
I haven't
since
seen anything.
Way
Yeah.
back when they were blowing up trains.
that's it. Now we don't see anything.
John's swearing again.
Meow. We don't see anything anymore. So what? I mean, then when you see videos of the Ukrainians partying at the bars at night, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, wait a minute. So you're all partying it up in the nightlife. You got all the bar scenes going strong, but there's a war going on.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, it's in another part of the country. Oh, so the bars are protected from the missiles. Is that what you're telling me?
And that's the video we see. Is that right? We don't
Yeah,
see any.
you're seeing
battle
them partying
video.
it up. The young kids partying it up. It's with our money. So what are we doing? $600 billion of our money. Just
And
boop, see you later.
supposedly, 500,000 people, Ukrainians killed. Right? Why don't we see coverage of all that stuff? Fuck 'em. It's just like they talk about it in the background, and then we see stuff like that. We don't see anything that's going on the actual ground. I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah. Just
It's
something-
possible because they're keeping it from us.
Has to be.
or it's not happening.
But they're,
Or it's not happening.
Right. Or it's not happening. Right. Exactly. Oh, but we're still funding it.
Right. We're
So the
funding
money's
something that
going
we
to
don't
Uk-
see going on.
Right. What a bunch of scammers we have in our office.
Well, I just love how they just take our money and do whatever the hell they want with it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here, Ukraine, here's $600 billion. Do what you want with it. Buy yourself a yacht.
Wouldn't it be great if everybody could look at their taxes at the end of the year and go, well, I don't agree with funding, Tranny Story Hour. I don't agree with funding Ukraine. I don't agree with funding the open board, whatever it is.
Check boxes.
Check boxes. So I choose to pay tax on these items only.
Infrastructure in our country.
Right.
That's it.
But if people had the actual say, then that puts the power back into people's hands. So obviously, once the bureaucrats get the power, they're going to do what they want with our money, and until we vote them out. But yeah, I don't like a lot of things that my money's going to. I think we got to go to break. So right after the short break, we're coming back with some great news about Florida sales tax. As a matter of fact, talking about taxes, Gun Owners of America is taking Biden's ATF to court, and a strategy by the Democrats that's intended to brainwash people into supporting communism. Be right back.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR. Empower yourself and defend your civil rights.
Our founding fathers saw them coming over 200 years away. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Join us in the fight to preserve your gun rights and stop unconstitutional gun control. Gun Owners of America is the country's only no-compromise gun rights organization. Not only do we inform and educate, but we bring the fight to court and win. Your God-given right to keep and bear arms is our top priority. Become a member today and help us take back America. Join us at gunowners.org. Gun Owners of America and Gun Owners Foundation are thrilled to be partnering with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton in a lawsuit challenging the Biden's ATF's new rule to require background checks on private sales of firearms. Now, the states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Utah all joined in the filing, along with Tennessee Firearms Association and our friends over at Virginia Citizens Defense League. As argued in the suit, the Biden administration's rule goes well beyond changes made by Senator John Cronin in his compromise gun control package, which passed in 2022. The rule would subject hundreds of thousands of law-abiding gun owners to presumptions of criminal guilt for all manner of activities relating to the innocuous, statutorily authorized, and constitutionally protected private sale firearms. Simply by selling one firearm, individuals could be required to obtain a federal firearms license and conduct background check or face criminal prosecution. So this is all about the transfer. If I want to transfer, if you and I are at the gun range and we're shooting our pistols or whatever, we decide, okay, let's switch. Let me try yours, you try mine. And we decided that, okay, let's trade. I like yours better, vice versa. We would essentially be breaking federal law and be prosecuted for that. Or we would have to go, one of us would have to go get a federal firearms license so we can actually conduct this type of thing. I can't give you a rifle or nothing. So Eric Pratt, a senior vice president for Gun Owners of America, issued the following statement. He said, "We warned the American public that this legislation brokered by Senator Cronin was no small compromise. Here we are today filing our second lawsuit, challenging a major policy derived from that anti-gun law. Criminalizing untold numbers of Americans for simply selling a firearm in a private party transaction is wrong, unconstitutional, and must be halted by the courts. Anything less would further encourage this tyrannical administration to continue weaponizing vague statutes into policies that are meant to further harass and intimidate gun owners and dealers at every turn." So what are your thoughts?
I think that law would probably prevent like gang members from exchanging weapons and stuff. So that's probably a good thing.
Right. That's what it's for. It's to stop yes, exactly. Well, the gang members would say, well, wait a minute. I can't let you use my gun, because that would be breaking the law.
But I'll be back next week with my FFL, and then we'll turn it up, bro. Exactly. I swear.
But I'm going to go register.
I'm going to,
right.
Yeah. All my felonies, I'm going to get an FFL. Because I'm pretty sure they'll let my liberal dirtbag butt get one, and I'll just sell you whatever you need. You need a rocket launcher? I'll have it all.
Pretty entrepreneurial.
Yeah, see?
Now
we can turn gangs into entrepreneurs.
So does that mean that all the community guns that they got hidden under garbage cans and dumpsters and things like that, those would be...
You mean the ghost guns?
Yeah, the ghost guns.
Albany Police Department used that word the other day.
Of course they did.
Ghost guns.
Of course they did.
I called them fools. I go, you are just as stupid as the administration that you follow. I said, there's no such thing as ghost guns. And the guy gets on and goes, well, a ghost gun is a guy. I said, there's no such thing. It's made up.
Yeah.
You're making something up that doesn't exist.
It's
just a gun without a serial number.
Right.
It's not a ghost gun. What do you think? It just appeared out of nowhere, went poof. Hey, I'm in the community, guys. Come on over.
They made up the term because they know it scares some stupid people.
Gun violence.
Gun violence.
I hear people, but I hear even
assault weapons the best.
I heard some Republican here. They say gun violence, and I'm just like, be careful. Be careful what you say. What are you talking about? Don't even give in to that terminology, because it's like, this is how a lot of things. I was just talking to a friend of mine. You have a discussion with somebody on the left about whether it's gun laws or other kinds of things, and the first thing they throw out is something. They go, "Oh, here's an article. Go read this."
Yeah.
And right in the first sentence, gun violence or assault weapon, and I'm like, "Is that credible?" You're using a made-up term to start out your argument.
Well, they love doing that. So I stopped arguing with liberals online a long time ago, anti-gunners.
He loves it.
Because
I don't love it.
the first thing they do is they give you an article as if they're credible, as if the article's credible.
And it's not even, it's worse than that. It's like if they give you an article and it says this, this, and this, and then I say, well, what about this source that's telling me this, this, and this? And you have never seen my source or the points that they're making. You're just out of hand believing what you read.
Yeah.
Who's got more data?
Yeah.
Who has more information here? If I know all the things you know, because we all see them every day, right? And all the things that I'm looking at are things that you refuse to look at because you already decided ahead of time that, well, that person's not credible. I can't listen to them. That makes you smart.
Just
Makes
imagine
you willfully ignorant.
Just imagine starting an article out of a drunk driver. Today, a 335i BMW assaulted a human being and killed it.
Yeah.
The Beamer is now impounded, and he will be going to court tomorrow morning. Because that's basically what you're saying. An assault rifle is assaulting somebody. You're saying gun violence. A gun is doing something. But you don't blame the car for the drunk driving homicide. You say, blah, 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 killed someone. But it's not, they never say the car.
Exactly. It's never car violence. It's never knife violence. It's never hammer violence. It's
always gun violence.
But gun violence is different. They know that if they attach the word gun to violence, people will create some sort of internal representation.
It's people violence, and they use a tool. That's all it is.
It's human violence. It's human behavior, really. And
Object that sits there until you pick it up and do something.
Ghost guns, I got to give them credit on ghost guns. The ghost guns is
good persuasion.
It's good.
Right?
It's a good term.
That's the problem with a lot of this stuff is they have people
Persuasion.
advising them on, oh, you get this term into the lexicon out there, and people are going to recognize that, and they're going to identify with what's going on, and then they're going to be afraid.
Yeah.
It's all about fear, fear, fear.
You got to give, as much as we understand how underhanded and deceitful the narrative and the propaganda is, you got to give them credit for being creative. If they used that talent and that creativity for good things, they would be respected. But they're not, because they're using ghost gun to scare Sally Soccer Mom. She doesn't know what a ghost gun is. She has no idea what this ghost gun. All she knows is ghosts are scary, and now there's a version of a gun that's a ghost. Oh my God!
Right? Casper's out selling guns on the black market,
big time.
There's a gun.
So the term, we talk about that, and we can talk about it more later or whatever, but that's a good point. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Joe Biden. It's been nothing but a disappointing failure ever since vote counting was stopped. He magically jumped ahead of Trump in the vote count. He supposedly earned more votes than any other president in American history. And then he miraculously won the presidency. Well, his failures as president are too numerous to list here, but one in particular stands out, and that was his irresponsible withdrawal from Afghanistan. Now, everyone wondered why he would pull the troops first and leave the American citizens and 82 or 83 or 85 billion dollars worth of equipment behind. It was almost as if he didn't know any better. Well, he did know better, and we have video footage that proves it. Can you play that clip, please?
If tomorrow the order goes out from the President of the United States, I issue an order, end the war today, begin to withdraw all American troops. It will take a year to get the American troops out. Do you hear me now? That's the truth. It will take a year to get them physically out. Now, if you leave all the equipment behind, you might be able to do it in 7 months. And you leave those billions of dollars of weapons behind, I promise they're going to be used against your grandchild and mine someday.
Okay. You see what he did there?
This is exactly what he did, right?
Is exactly what he did. And he knew, because he said, if you leave those weapons there, they're going to be used against your grandchildren and mine.
Not his.
And you notice in the end how he got right in someone's face? You see that? He loves to do that. That's a kind of like
sniffing his hair.
I don't know what that is, but it's obnoxious. So he knew. back then he's saying it's going to take a year to get this, to do this properly, right?
Isn't that the pattern with the left, though? They say stuff, and they the same thing with the elections. Before 2016, the left was all worried about the integrity of the voting machines. Oh, we got to be careful. The elections are going to be stolen because the voting machines aren't secure. And then a couple years later, 180-degree flip, accusing us for being the bad guys because we wouldn't even consider questioning the election. We must not be patriotic. We're treason. It's like committing treason to question things that they themselves were just questioning a few years ago.
It's absolutely unbelievable, though, that the Democrat voters can see these clips and not go, what the hell am I doing voting for this guy?
Nope.
They don't care.
No, they don't care.
Well, and you know what it is too,
care.
and a lot of it, and I think this is the larger point, which I've been making a lot lately, is that they're not going to change their mind, but at least they should have a question in their mind about that, and you can't even talk to them about that. There's that. What about this? You know, they come at us all the time. Trump said this. Trump said that. Okay, well, what did it do? What happened because of that? He had mean tweets. What happened? They banned the president of the United States from a social media platform because we don't want to hear. That's what we don't want to hear. But on the other side, we can just ignore all this stuff. But my point is, it's an election. The candidates are chosen. We have to vote for one or the other. So all these little nitpicky things about Trump being this or Trump being that doesn't matter to people like us. You know, we're going to vote for Trump no matter what. So let's talk about the issues that are things like that. That here's somebody saying something that goes exactly against the action that he ended up taking. Let's talk about that process. Yeah. That's what we need to talk about.
I wonder how they would justify that.
They would tell you it's fake.
They would tell you the video's fake?
Or they say it was overdubbed. They would.
I remember, I think it was Rachel Maddow, when Trump was doing a speech or something like that, she would say stuff like, we're checking in on Trump's speech periodically, and we'll let you know if any important news comes of it. But we won't show it to you because we don't want to spread disinformation. So they determine that he's lying before he says anything.
Big brother, just thought police taking over everything. Got to protect you from yourself.
Well, speaking of protecting, you want to know who's fighting and protecting your gun rights? Gun Owners of America. Now, GOA is the No Compromise Gun Rights Group, and I urge you to become a member at gunowners.org. What have they done? Well, GOA secured a preliminary injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule, and GOA members submitted a record 85,000 plus comments opposing the ATF's universal registration check rule, and they helped enact permitless carry in Nebraska and Florida. GOA secured victories in California, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Plus, they won 2 legal victories against the ATF's zero tolerance policy. And GOA fought to overturn Joe Biden's ban on funding hunter education, shooting sports, and archery in schools. So with the constant attacks on our Second Amendment, we often ask ourselves, well, what can I do about it? Well, this is what you can do. Become a member at gunowners.org and help us save the Second Amendment. So, we got, how much time do we have? I have a couple more things I wanted to get to. Oh, good. Okay. So let me see here. I wanted to talk about this cool thing Florida's doing. So this is an article in Breitbart, and Florida embraces freedom sales tax holiday to make summer more affordable. Florida's embracing a freedom sales tax. They already have low taxes in Florida, but they're embracing a freedom sales tax holiday to make the summer more affordable in President Joe Biden's economy. Governor Ron DeSantis announced on Tuesday the sales tax month in the Sunshine. The sales tax month in the Sunshine State begins in July. DeSantis said during a press conference in Tampa, "We're reinstituting the very successful, which we've done in the past, Freedom Sales Tax Holiday Initiative. And so this year, from July 1 to July 31, you will have tax-free fishing supplies, camping supplies, boating and water activity, pool supplies, sunscreen, sunblock, bug spray, general outdoor supplies, gas, and charcoal grills under $250. and bicycles under 500. He noted that these things are part of enjoying summer in Florida. Additionally, many activities will be tax-free, including movies, live music, sporting events, festival fairs, entry to state parks, museums, and annual passes. He said, we did the annual passes for the state parks last fall, October until January. We did 50% off annual passes, and it went through the roof. The number of people who purchased it, the governor said. He said it was a really, really great response, so we're happy. Also, tax-free entry to theater, valet, music events, again, including seasonal and annual passes. So this is going to make a big difference for families, and we're happy to be able to step up and do it, the governor said, emphasizing that Florida is a great summer state, touting the tourism figures from 2023. So just a little bit of good news. That's it. Nothing big, no big controversy here. What are you guys' thoughts?
If it works. Of course, isn't it summer in Florida all year round?
From coming from New York, I would say yes, but they don't think so down there. No,
that's cool.
It gets cold down there for them.
Well, it just
like
goes to the basic
50 and 60 degrees.
Ooh, boo-hoo.
It goes to the basic point where you lower taxes on stuff and people spend more money. That's just how it works. That's the result that comes from that. But the left probably hates that, right? They're probably condemning DeSantis right and left for this.
Oh yeah,
they hate him anyway.
Well, they know that it's going to attract more people to the state, and they don't want people moving out of New York, moving out of California, moving out of Massachusetts, Connecticut, any of the blue states, and going down to Florida, because then they're losing, they're losing votes and they're losing tax revenue in those states.
Yep.
But he's doing a great job. Hats off to Ron DeSantis, Governor DeSantis. Since we're getting close to wrapping up, I wanted to end with this. Because society has lost its mind and no one is calling out the insanity, we created a new segment called So the left is triggered over democracy, and they're using the term as a tool to brainwash people into believing that majority rules in America. That is exactly what leads to communism. Play that clip.
It is the end of democracy if we do not take and hold the president accountable.
This is about literally the safety of our democracy.
This is the end of democracy in America.
It's a clear and present danger to our democracy.
We are a democracy in danger.
Democracy is in danger.
Perhaps the end of democracy.
The end of democracy in America.
And the ending of American democracy.
If the Democrats fail, it might be the end of American democracy.
They're actually trying to destroy democracy.
We might see the end of democracy.
Could spell the end of democracy.
A re-election of Donald Trump could mean the end of democracy.
The death of democracy.
This is really scary stuff that could lead to the end of democracy.
The end of democracy.
It potentially is the end of democracy.
A memo that could have destroyed democracy.
The end of democracy as we know it in America.
It's a referendum on the end of democracy.
The end of democracy.
They want to destroy our democracy.
This gerrymandering case actually could be the end of democracy.
Planning for the end of democracy.
Okay, now either these libs are really, really stupid and don't understand, or they're trying to convince people that we do not live in a constitutional republic, that we live in a democracy. So let me just, before we talk about this, let me give the definition. The United States is a constitutional republic, just for all these crazy libs who don't understand this. It's a form of government involving representatives elected by the people. These representatives execute their duties under the constraints of a prevailing constitution that specifies the powers and limits of government. One important key point about the U.S. as a constitutional republic is the protection of minority rights. One fundamental principle of a constitutional republic is the protection of minority rights against the potential tyranny of the majority. Unlike direct democracy, where majority rules and could potentially override minority interests, the U.S. Constitution outlines checks and balances to prevent any single branch of government from gaining absolute power. This protection ensures that individual, and this is the key part, it ensures that individual rights are not infringed upon by majority vote. So why do you think Democrats are relentlessly pushing this this democracy narrative and implying that we're a democracy, even though our founding fathers made it clear?
Because that's what they want, one-party rule.
One-party
They're
rule.
brainwashing the morons into believing. See, this is what I don't get. If you go to college, they used to teach you this.
Yeah.
They don't teach anything history anymore. These stupid morons.
We got to
know
teach it here on the
nothing.
Loaded Mic because they don't teach it in school.
They don't know. They believe we live in a democracy. We don't.
I know.
But
Well, that's because that's what you get when you hear all those people saying it over and over.
Democracy.
Like John said before, you keep saying the same thing and it's going to become truth, right?
That's where the
Take a
cheating
lie.
starts, right? That's where the cheating. If you cheat and you keep one party rule all the time, then there's no point in having two parties.
Yeah.
That's what happened in 2020. That was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So now they're going to keep doing it to try to keep themselves in office.
Yeah.
Just have to have a big enough margin so they can't cheat.
Well, when people say, people are going to come up to these libs that are growing up, these kids that are going to college and not understanding that we're a constitutional republic, they're going to say, well, wait a minute. The majority of people want this. So therefore, majority rules. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute. Our Constitution is created to protect the rights of the individual, even if that's just one person against 300 million. That person's rights, because we're a constitutional republic, are protected. So we have to find another way to make things work rather than we all agree and you don't, so you're out. Right. It doesn't work
That's
like
the
that.
consensus fallacy. Everybody agrees. Okay, well then there's a process. Go through the process.
Yeah.
Whatever comes out, that's how the process allows.
Right. Amend the Constitution or change the law or do something.
Consensus on social media doesn't mean that that's what the law of the land. It means nothing. It's just your opinion. That's all it is.
Just brainwashed. They're brainwashed.
Yeah. I wonder, hey, Danny Wass Jr. in the producer's room, can you tell me when you were in school, did you learn about our constitutional republic? Or did you learn any?
We learned it was a representative democracy.
Representative democracy.
Which is basically a different way of saying constitutional republic, but it's got the word democracy in it.
So they still wanted to keep the. So now you're long out of college, but you're younger than us.
Well, once it gets to the point where it's in Congress, that's a democratic process. But those people are elected by us to basically
make decisions on our behalf.
On our behalf.
Right.
Our concerns, our interests. They're representing our interests.
Right.
But that's not how, it's not mob people on the bottom. We're all going through that process. But things can happen during that process. But that's why they complain about gerrymandering and stuff like that. They figure, you're trying to corrupt the process. If it was democracy, we wouldn't care about that. Just everybody would vote at home on their computer and go. Put those people in jail. Shut it down. This, that. Horrible.
Yeah.
Third world country.
Well, so that's the stuff we got to fight back. At least if we can talk about it a little bit here, maybe some people will understand the difference between a democracy, which we are not, and a constitutional republic, which we are. A constitutional republic protects the rights of the individual from being overridden by a majority rule.
Isn't Canada a democracy?
They're a mess.
Yeah, their constitution, I haven't read their entire constitution, but it's not good. It's not good. It was written in the 80s.
Yeah.
And 1980s, that is. And
it's like a dictatorship up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you want, dummies?
Yeah. They can't help it now. I look at Canada, like with all the truckers and stuff, and I was like, yeah, man, I was cheering them on. I was like, this is awesome what they're doing.
Until the dictator.
Said that little weasel shut them down.
That's what they're trying to do in America with the electric cars, the electric stoves, your electric this, your electric that. Because if you don't do what they say, you're shut off.
Yeah. Well, that's why they want digital currency and all sorts of stuff.
They don't want any money. They want all this.
Digital currency and electric cars, that will stop you from moving,
right?
Stop you from spending,
right?
Put you in a hole.
Yeah. Oh, you owe money?
Yeah.
There, we're going to take that right from you.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. If you owe money or something, they probably pull it right out of your bank account.
You don't even know. You would have no control.
Yep, maybe that's why they're trying to devalue the dollar at the moment. But that's another topic for another day.
Stay classy, liberals.
Stay classy, liberals. Thanks for watching The Loaded Mic on Rumble and YouTube. We are also on Ops Lens, which is one of our new networks, Right America Media, Simul TV, the Key Radio Network, and you can also find us on any podcast platform out there, pretty much any podcast platform. So check us out. You can also go to loadedmic.com. And remember, the Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's your right.